Hello, everybody. My name is Bill, and this is Sonia, and we're going to be giving our thoughts about the latest Servant episode that came out this week called Myth. I'm just going to say right off the bat, I didn't believe for a second. What about you?
You know what? I kind of believed it. That's why we're naming this episode Blah, Blah, Blah.
Blah.
Devastating fire kills family of 3 in Oneida, Wisconsin. Body of the daughter, Leanne Greyson, never recovered, presumed dead, blah, blah, blah.
Well, to explain why we named it blah, 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 there's a religious saying, the greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world that he did not exist, which is what George was doing this whole time, right?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was shooketh by the whole thing. I really was. This episode was written by Henry Chiasson and Ishana Night Shyamalan. And you guys, they are totally toying with us. They are playing with our emotions big time. So the episode begins with a shot of Julian. Looking eyes wide shut in bed with Leanne.
He definitely was.
He understandably can't sleep, and he looks out the window and only to see Leanne's followers looking back up at him. Do they not? Don't they sleep? Do these people not sleep or what?
We're zombies, right? I asked this question before. I forget it. Why is Julian listening?
Listening where? At the door?
Yeah, at the door.
It seemed to me like that was Sean's office. That Sean went into his office and he was listening to that.
Well, hold on. Now, I thought he ran up to their bedroom door, Dorothy and Sean's bedroom door, and was listening. And when he heard someone coming, he ran into the attic doorway, where the little stairwell is, and he hid. Why? And then, Sean, of course, went into the other room.
See, and I thought he went into the office.
Well, regardless, why did he hide? Well, okay. So a few things to talk about here. First of all, they concentrated on a book that Julian finds titled Significant Form. And where did Sean get this book? Okay, so it's a book about a certain form of art that displays symbolism and allegory in Western art. Okay?
Okay.
And it has a lot of mysticism and stuff in it, like Faustian devil stuff. Mysticism, I don't know what you call it. Anyway, because there's a picture of Lucifer in there, and it's definitely the Faustian Lucifer that we see from Faust, which is the guy who sold his soul to the devil to get, fame and fortune, blah, 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 blah. Okay, it's an old story. But it's this very specific artwork. So anyway, this book deals with a lot of allegory. Okay. Which we've been talking about this since the beginning. The show deals with a ton of symbolism and allegory of symbolism. If you guys go back to the allegory of the cave, which is like philosophy 101. In college, where if you put the person in front of the fire, they've never seen anything but shadows cast before them. That's what they know of the world. They only see the world as shadows. They don't realize that there's people behind the fire making those shadows, right? So things aren't quite as they seem. So I liked that so much in this episode because it kind of went back to what we used to really dive deep into in the other episodes was the deep symbolism. So
with the mural
and this whole season we've been devoid of that. They've been depriving us of all that. It's been all very surface level stuff. So anyway, we got back into that, which made me happy.
Yeah. The next shot you were saying they showed the street, and you were saying it was bad CGI.
What is going on with the CGI in this show? I don't think there's ever been good CGI in the show.
Even they can improve on. Their cinematography is great, but they can improve on.
Oh my God. Are they getting discount CGI people? We've been on that street. We've been on that street a lot, actually. And it looks so fake. The holes look so
that
fake.
shot must have been
like
definitely was the exterior. Looked like a cartoon.
It looked
Definitely
like a cartoon. Boo.
The next scene, we see that Dorothy is investigating.
Okay, but let me stop here, and I'm going to say this, and Dorothy lovers may get mad, but you know what? Y'all need to admit this. This shows us, I think, definitively, Dorothy is not a real journalist. Like, I think we got tricked into thinking Dorothy is this kind of like journalist. No, she's not. She's a fluff piece person for the news. She's like a, Jim Carrey in that movie where he met God, Morgan Freeman. You know what I mean? Be a beautiful day, whatever. So he was just like the fluff piece person that handled nothing significant. She's still
Dorothy.
A
journalist. She's just not a serious journalist.
Oh, it's all BS. Mm-hmm. Puppies and local news cupcakes. Yes.
Yeah, pools. And, yeah.
So stop thinking she's this hardcore, like, investigative journalist that's going to find something out.
So, yes, they show her. She's on the phone with this guy named Eric.
She's clown shoes. She's clown shoes. Sorry. Go.
Oh, she's on the phone with this guy named Eric from the station. She's asking her to help him find information about Leanne.
So he's like an investigator probably for the...
Yeah, so it looks like it.
Yeah, okay. A researcher maybe? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And she's watching that video clip of Leanne with her mom, grabbing her by the arm, being mean to her.
Did you get the clip?
I got it. Tell me what I'm looking for?
This got me thinking that Dorothy may stumble across her own story and the obituary for Jericho through her investigation.
Oh, I hope she would.
Maybe that's how she'll find out.
Maybe.
But I'm trying to figure out what is Dorothy's goal here. What is Dorothy really trying to find out?
I think she's looking for some dirt on Leanne. That's all, so she can get an upper hand on Leanne. That's it. But she, it's funny because she was being kind of nicer to Leanne in this episode. In the first part. She came down herself, and Leanne was being a little aggressive, like, why didn't you call me, and blah blah blah. But she accepted her help and put her arms around her. And
what are you doing down here?
I needed a change of scenery.
Well, you should have called for me.
I wish I can go with your walk with Jericho. And when she asked if she could help, she was actually kind of kind. She's like, no.
Yeah.
I don't got to lead yet.
Maybe she's figuring that the other tactic wasn't working. She's going to try this one. Try to be nicer.
Maybe.
So it's in the morning, and now Julian begins, like he's brushing his teeth, and he begins dancing with Leanne.
Well, before that, did you notice he looked up and saw mold on the wall?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so there's the more decay in the house, and he noticed it right away, and he was kind of weirded out before she...
No, I didn't notice it. Now that you say it, I can see it.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, I can see it. I just didn't...
Up by the light fixture.
Yeah, I can totally see it was black. It looked like it was black mold. He's trying to talk to Leanne about all the weird stuff going on in the house, and Leanne bites his lip and says, "You talk too much."
Julian, shut up.
Oh, fuck. You bit me.
We talked earlier about this, and we had the little video short series that you did about cult leaders and the progression of cult leaders and how they treat their people. And, obviously she's already sexually controlling him, but now she's physically abusing him, right? He's talking, and she bites him and tells him he needs to shut up, but I don't think she's just talking about that conversation. I think she's talking about the conversation he's having with Sean behind her back.
Okay, yeah, stop talking to Sean.
Yeah, stop talking to Sean and Dorothy. You're mine.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Again, we see, we hear during this scene another song by Vivian Dale, a.k.a. Salika Knight. And Sean's gone viral. You see Sean, Sean's watching his iPad or whatever. And he's gone viral.
Yeah, a clip of him being really mean to people.
I think it might be a little... You hear me talking to you? Yes, chef.
Okay. Well, here's your fucking emotion.
It was gone viral.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He seems really pleased with himself.
Does.
But to go back to the Salika thing, if you notice, Julian asked her, is that the only thing you listen to?
Don't you ever listen to anything else?
And she just kind of,
yeah.
You know, she just kind of laughed and that was it.
And Jericho, did you guys notice he said Dada during that part?
Yeah, he was like happy with him being a jerk. He was having them being Gordon Ramsay,
Right.
Sean Ramsey.
Right.
Well, Julian comes and confronts Sean about the bedtime reading, the significant form book that book that Julian was looking through, right? He noticed that there was bookmarks in it. That was from Sean doing research. So Sean's come to the conclusion that everything is connected with Leanne and has discovered something called the Faustian bargain, which I mentioned earlier, right? Mm-hmm. So Faust, everybody should know the story of Faust. He made the deal with the devil and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And it's a cautionary tale of, taking shortcuts in life and, blah,
How do you
blah.
think it relates to Sean?
Oh, Sean made the deal with the devil, right? He's doing everything Leanne wants, and he's getting everything he wants in return. He's getting fame and fortune and all that kind of stuff. But he's paying a price too.
Yeah. Where does that leave Dorothy though? Because she didn't agree to anything.
That's true, and that's why her and Sean were having the problems, and then he decided at some point, like, oh man, I've screwed up. Mm-hmm. And that's how he's going back with Dorothy. Mm-hmm. But he's already dug the hole that he's got to get himself out of, Mm-hmm. So anyways, I was looking at this book. The author of the book is Liam Tegler Core. Guess what? That's not a real author. I couldn't find him anywhere. It's not a real book. Mm-hmm. I looked it up. Like they just made it up for the show, I think, because I couldn't find it anywhere. If you guys find it, please tell me because I couldn't find it anywhere. But good research. The thing about it, I spent some time, pausing and standing right up to the screen reading everything. But it got me thinking because it's all about allegory.
Well, you mentioned that earlier. Right,
and it's allegory in Western art, symbolism and allegory within Western art, blah, 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 right? Mm-hmm. Going back to our roots, why we started reviewing the show, it was so deep in symbolism.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I love about it.
We've got so far away from that, especially this season, but now I'm thinking maybe they're trying to trick us. Okay, because we've gotten to this point, at the beginning of the season, we're thinking everything's supernatural. Now, all of a sudden, they're talking about allegory, and I'm thinking, this has got to be significant. Mm-hmm. Allegory basically being, something's a metaphor for this or that. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're trying to tell us there's nothing supernatural now.
They're definitely trying to tell us that.
Is that a red herring?
Yeah.
Are they tricking us? Yeah. Or are they letting us know what's going to happen? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think they're tricking us, but... Oh,
gosh. They've just got me
what do you
twisted. Think? I don't know what's going on, you guys. I don't know what to think. I'm loving it, though. I'm here for it. I'm here for this ride, but I don't know. I think it's something supernatural still. I want it to be something supernatural. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't supernatural. I just want Dorothy to know the truth. That's all. I just want Dorothy to know what happened and her to be in a mental facility. That's it.
She wasn't as bad this episode as she's been. I think I liked her in this episode better than probably any other episode.
Really?
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
I thought it was funny when Sean was whispering to Julian.
We need to talk about this, but not here. That's funny. Yeah.
We need to talk about this, but not here.
He's so scared of Leanne, right?
He's like, what if Leanne did actually die in the past, and this fallen angel theory,
right, stuff that he found in the book. Mm-hmm. Well, they think this explains Julian coughing and losing his voice, right? Because he just stops. He even put up a thing saying, "Is Leanne doing this?" And then it harkens back to Sean with the splinters, and you know, all that kind of stuff, and Leanne getting mad and
Right. Yeah. The key word in that whole conversation was loyal.
yeah.
You know, as long as, you know, Sean is like, as long as we stay loyal to Leanne, all will remain intact.
Right.
And they're definitely not staying loyal to Leanne. They have all turned against her
They're sneaking.
at this point.
Yeah. Well, in the next scene, Dorothy slides down the banister by herself.
Yeah, you mentioned this earlier.
Right.
Yeah, this is
And
when she
that was kind of cool. And she
grabs
tells
her.
Leanne that she's you know, working on the story and all that kind of stuff. But one thing that was funny is Dorothy says it's like trying to find a needle in the haystack, which Leanne says that doesn't seem like it's very hard. What does she mean by that? Is she like, again, with her I'm the one
Yeah, does
thing?
that mean Leanne can do the impossible?
Or she feels she could do the impossible.
Yeah. I'm wondering, with this episode, I'm wondering if Leanne is kind of like Santa Claus at this point. There's that Santa Claus myth where it's more about the power of believing in Santa Claus is more important than the actual existence of Santa Claus, or Santa Claus gets his power from people believing in him.
Sure.
There's lots of instances in this episode where, like with Julian and his voice.
Fallen angel. What's happening? You can't talk?
You know, he got it back after he started thinking that Leanne wasn't supernatural, that these things weren't coming from Leanne.
There was a lot of folklore. Am I saying that right? Folklore in this episode? Like you know, they were joking about werewolves and
Were they really joking though? I don't know.
vampires and garlic. You know, it's like, no, but she liked my spaghetti a la whatever. Oh, you know, it's like
Garlic? No. She loves my spaghetti aglio olio. Right.
that was pretty funny. But
Yeah.
you know, like would a silver bullet stop her? You know, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's like, maybe her weakness is water, which made me think, is that a nod to Unbreakable?
And we have seen her take a bath. She was taking a bath with Juju. She was washing his back.
Well, she took a bath in the very first season.
Yeah.
She was taking a bath. So we've seen her take a bath.
But I guess Sean never saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would Sean see her take a bath?
Yeah. Very weird.
Anyway, so.
What was that water like the witch from Wizard of Oz? Like, what is he talking about? The wall. Fish ever take a bath.
That's why I was thinking like it's a nod to Unbreakable, because remember Bruce Willis's character,
his weakness was water.
Weakness was water.
I didn't think of that,
I don't know.
but that would make sense.
So, but during this conversation, we get this great panorama shot where the camera is moving like horizontally, and I spied with my little eye Roscoe.
You saw him before I did. He was sneaking around behind them while they were talking, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, talk about Roscoe and not really the double agent. Like what was going?
I mean, we've been calling him a double agent this whole time, but I guess technically he really isn't a double agent. He's more of a, what did you call him?
A mole.
Yeah, a mole.
Yeah. So
Right.
he's working for
Right.
the Church of the Lesser Saints. Mm-hmm. He's just making Leanne think he was working for her, but he really wasn't.
Right.
So a double agent kind of plays both sides to each other, and he wasn't doing that. He was working for Uncle George. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work out well for him here, though.
Well, we'll see how it
And
works
where's
out
Uncle
for him
George?
then.
Where's Uncle George's white suit? Check him out now. He's all like
Kentucky
a
Fried
normal
Chicken white
guy.
suit.
Yeah, no more Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
He's like a normal dude now. And we had said before we really thought the thumbnail was going to be a flashback to his former life. It wasn't. You know, Uncle George has got big news about Leanne, and he's telling Sean and Julian that he's actually left the Church of the Lesser Saints. And he's intent on righting his wrongs to the people he's hurt.
I made the recent decision to leave the Church of the Lesser Saints.
Like, what?
Yeah. I just don't know if I can believe it or not. I think my favorite scene of the entire episode was when Julian held up the notebook. said, this dude's makeovers.
Yeah, this dude's makeovers. Like he's had 3 now, right? Something like that.
Julian's always good for a laugh in this dramedy.
Yes.
But Uncle George dove right in with his elaborate story of where Leanne came from.
Leanne's family died in a fire when she was a young girl.
Yeah, and they're intermingling the 2 stories here, right? So like, Dorothy's parallel research about the fire with the guy at the station, and Uncle George telling his story. Right. I thought that was pretty smart of Uncle George. I don't know if he knew, but like, how I knew that was so great of him is that's what I would do. Right? Because I'm trying to get these people to help me. They started to believe that it's supernatural. Now, they're not going to go against something supernatural because who can go against that, right? So you know what? Let's make them think that it's all BS. It's all smoke and mirrors. She's a liar. And then you can get their help. They said in another episode we can even get their help, the Turner's help,
and this
right?
is his way to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, but Julian and Sean they're arguing it. They're like, no, Julian held up the sign, Satan 2.0 question mark.
That was great.
This is all us viewers with the same questions, but you called foul right away and you said it's all a game. I'm not going to lie, you guys, they had me going because this is what we originally had thought. And I think I mentioned earlier, that's why, Uncle George cleaned up to make him seem more credible. But his teeth are still jacked up, though.
Well,
so he didn't go to the dentist.
Why didn't Uncle George, though? This is why I know it's fake. Okay? Because it seems so real. But why didn't Uncle George show Sean and Julian how he manipulated Roscoe? Because that was really cruel. Roscoe's like, I gave up my whole family for you. And
why do you have to
like,
give up his whole family for that?
I don't know. I guess they wanted him there all the time. And he's like, I gave up my whole family for your faith. And he's like, yeah, well, you played your part. Bounce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But also, the splinters. He said that Leanne used to put splinters and stuff, when she was mad and it showed her sprinkling in Sean's bed or whatever. It's like, how did it end up in Sean's mouth, though? It was like back in his throat.
Right. It didn't all make sense.
Yeah. So, Uncle George really shook Sean and Julian's their faith in Leanne, though.
But you don't believe he's left the church?
No, I don't think he's left the church at all. But he knows that they believe in rational things. So now it's like time to change up the strategy.
Right.
I'm shocked that they had the wherewithal to do that. You
mean the Church of the Lesser Saints?
Yeah.
So because even example of that is because George is has a answer for everything. So he's like the rationality of Bev almost dying from the snake bite.
The woman nearly died. The way her face looked, I've never seen anything like it. How do you explain that?
I visited Beverly Alcott in the hospital this morning as part of my amends. She'd suffered a snake bite, but is well on her way to a full recovery.
What?
But
thinking about this, though, you think Jude, the animal dude, would bring a poisonous snake to a kid's party?
Exactly. He's not going to bring a poisonous. You probably couldn't even get one of those poisonous snakes from Peruvian.
Right. He's got a license, right? To be able to do this, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he's trying to connect with them. And, but it'll say, he's saying Bev's alive.
Yeah, I guess
right?
Bev's. It seems that Bev is alive, you guys. Good thing, because the Turners want her to come back and pick up her box of dicks. So, seriously, though, the story Uncle George concocted was good. It was good, though, with the tunnels, the drug addict, and the baby, and Leanne going all single white female on us. It could be believable, but I just kept wondering.
Leanne is a confused, deranged, and completely ordinary girl.
If that's the case, if she's just a normal girl, why don't just call the police? Why do you care? If she's just this normal girl,
they still want the baby.
Yeah, why? And they still want. Yeah, why does Uncle George care so much to get her back?
Right.
So One of the things, though, that made me like this episode so much as I did is just how they captured all of our fan theories out there. They pretty much have been touching on every single fan theory out there, even aliens. So that's fun. It really is. It's kind of fun.
Yeah. And you're right. Uncle George did have a pretty reasonable explanation for everything. He made the comment that, in almost every situation, the most simplest explanation is the right one.
The simplest solution is almost always the right one.
Really? Exactly. You were going to say that, George?
This episode got me wondering, though, if we are going to see Dorothy in that tunnel.
Because she's crazy? That's where they put the crazy people?
Yeah, exactly. Because George said the tunnels were built in the 19th century to transport mentally ill relatives for treatment. And they definitely have a mentally ill relative. Did you notice the smile on Leanne's face during the story that Uncle George was telling?
She seemed crazy.
Yeah, her smile looked like a cross between her mom's smile when her mom was holding her as a baby in that picture. That smile, like her mom is like taking her fingers and like forcing a smile on the baby.
Yeah, and it was creepy.
It was really creepy. Her smile looked like that.
Well, we're not sure what the feature on the bake shop meant with the eating people. Cupcakes still, but
eating people you don't like.
Right, but we know this is going to spark the theory about Sean eating the baby. Ew. You guys need to stop that. What's wrong with you? But Roscoe, of course, like I said, it was kind of cruel what he did. He looked shocked and hurt. When he overheard Uncle George talk about how it's all a lie. But don't worry, Roscoe, because Uncle George is lying. And
oh my God,
he was so cold-hearted to him, though.
He was really, like Roscoe had tears in his eyes. So Leanne, they show Leanne coming back from her walk, and there's this 40 music's playing in the background, and Dorothy's making dinner and taking a stroll down memory lane.
This doesn't need salt. This is exactly the way Mom used to make it. Remember all those amazing dinners she would make us? God, she loved us so much.
She's talking about her mom, how great her mom was. And
I think she's doing that to hurt Leanne's feelings, like how much our mom loved us. Like your mom didn't love you. Yeah.
And you said you liked
Dorothy. No, well, she was okay in this episode until the end. She got pompous again,
Yeah.
But both Julian and Sean are challenging Leanne.
Actually, I'm thinking of canceling my contract.
You can't do that.
He can do whatever he wants. What?
Leanne gets upset that Sean's thinking about canceling his contract, and Julian's like, what, in her face? And she's just like, y'all better be careful. And she walks off, and then Dorothy goes back into pompous mode, like, isn't this nice, to be eaten together.
I was surprised. Julian's like, catch me outside, Leanne.
How about that? He did.
Oh, my God.
But there's also the part where Leanne asks Julian, like, what happened to your voice? Julian says allergies, and like, you sure about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Why would she do that if it wasn't her? Okay, then we end up with George sitting in the dark, begging for forgiveness, whipping himself, and asking for forgiveness for lying. And
forgive your humble servant for his blasphemy.
At first, we thought, oh yeah, obviously, this is all a ruse, and he's lying. On subsequent views, though, I started thinking, well, he didn't really reveal anything that he didn't say to Sean and Julian, so he could still be telling the truth. Just to give a little alternate view on that, I still think he's lying.
Okay.
But I mean, it could be he's not. It could be all BS. But I for some reason, I just think it would have been a better ending is if Jericho would have turned into a doll at the table.
Yeah, like after Leanne.
And Uncle George wouldn't have done that and left us just thinking,
That would have wiped that smug look off Dorothy's face if she turned and it was Scary Jerry sitting at the table.
Yeah. That would have given us a whole week to think about is it really this? Is it really that? One of the 10 commandments is don't bear false witness on thy neighbor or something like that.
So that can make you think that's why he's whipping himself, because he just lied.
Yeah.
But I think that's the 8th commandment. So
yeah.
I don't know. What did you think of the episode?
I'm gonna tell y'all, I love this episode. I mean, I almost want to give it. I almost want to give it 5 Uncle Georges. I've never given any episode 5 Uncle Georges. I think I want to give this 5 Uncle Georges.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What do you think?
I loved it too. So I'm going to give it 5 Uncle Georges as well.
All right.
I'm going to give it 5 Uncle Georges as well. I'm here. Right. I'm here till the end. We'll see what happens, you guys.
2 more. Only 2 more.
No, there's more. There's 3 more. This was
this
episode
was 8,
7.
Right? Oh, this was 7. Oh, okay. Oof.
Yeah,
okay,
3 more.
Good.
3 more.
Good.
3 more. So what did we find out this episode that we didn't know?
Okay. Well, we learned that the Church of the Lesser Saints is super desperate to try to get the Turners to turn on Leanne by any means necessary. That's why they pull this super elaborate ruse. Right?
We know Leanne's not a vampire or a werewolf. We know that, but some of the things we already knew, like we knew that her mom was a drunk. We didn't know she got a DUI, so we found that out. I don't know if we knew her first name. Her first name was Laura. George supposedly tried to hang himself, like Dorothy threatened she was going to do. If that's true.
Yes, if it's true. He might have been BSing.
Right, we don't know.
So.
Well, here are some production notes.
Okay, good.
First, we wanted to share some funny memes. For all you Sean haters out there.
There you go.
So last week I did the IMDb score. This week I looked at the average Rotten Tomato score, which is they look like they took the sum of all the season scores by
number of seasons.
Yeah, they did the number of seasons divided.
The whole thing overall.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
We get it.
So the critics' consensus was for season 1, they gave season 1 84%.
Okay.
Season 2, they gave Servant 88%. Season 3, they gave it 92%.
Wow.
And so far for this season, they gave it 100%.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy to me because I wouldn't give the first 4 episodes much more.
No, I would have given season 1 100%.
Yes, yeah, so, for sure.
But the average tomato meter is 91% for the critic score and 77% for the audience score.
Yeah. Now before COVID, pre-COVID, I always went by audience score. Critic score meant nothing to me. It was always audience score. Then COVID came around, everybody was starved for content. And they were at home watching everything, and standards went way down. So it's hard to pay attention to the audience score now. So, we could average those out. So it's probably like somewhere in the 88th percentile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun facts about Boris MacGyver, who plays Uncle George.
Okay.
He is the son of actor John MacGyver. Uncle George is 61 years old. He was born in Cobleskill, New York. Boris owns and lives in an old 1831 Baptist church where he was born and raised by his mother, along with 9 other siblings. So
was that a cult?
George grew up on a cult. No, no, he didn't. He grew up working on a farm, and he has said nothing has ever seemed like work ever since.
Wow.
And he's played so many other characters on other series. The ones that we know about are like he played on House of Cards. He was in Boardwalk Empire.
The Wire.
The Blacklist, Law and Order, Person of Interest, The Good Wife, John Adams, and so many more.
Wire is one of my personal favorites.
I don't remember him in The Wire. I have to go back and look. Do you remember Boris MacGyver in The Wire?
Yeah, but
You do?
We could be here for a long time. So. But as always, thank you for listening to our thoughts and interacting with us. We love it on this week's episode. And leave your comments, please. Let me ask you, do you think Uncle George is lying about the truth of Leanne or not? We'll do this again next week for episode 8, Tunnels. Bye.
Bye.
Do you know who you welcomed into your home, Sean?